You know that feeling when you meet someone and everything seems perfectly fine on the surface, but there's something in your gut, something deep in your instincts screaming at you that something is off? Maybe it's the way they smile just a little too wide, or how their eyes don't quite match the warmth of their words. Maybe it's how they make you feel slightly uncomfortable, but you can't put your finger on why. And what do? You ignore it. You tell yourself you're being paranoid, you're being judgmental, you're overthinking things. Because we've been taught to give people the benefit of the doubt, to be kind, to be open-minded. So you push down that alarm bell ringing in your chest and you let them in. You let them into your life, into your circle, into your trust. And then, weeks later, or months later, or maybe even years later, you're sitting there with your world falling apart, your reputation damaged, your energy drained, your peace destroyed, and you think back to that very first moment, that very first gut feeling, and you realize with a sickening clarity that you knew. You knew from day one, but you didn't listen. You didn't run, and now you're paying the price. If you've ever ignored your instincts about someone only to regret it deeply later, if you're tired of being burned by people you should have avoided from the start, if you want to finally learn how to identify toxic personality types before they destroy you, then stay right here because what I'm about to share with you might be the most important thing you hear all year. The ancient masters of power, from Machiavelli to Sun Tzu, all understood one fundamental truth that most people never learn. Choosing your battles is less important than choosing your enemies. And even more critical than that is choosing who never becomes your enemy in the first place by simply staying away from them. Robert Greene, in his masterwork, The 48 Laws of Power, dedicates entire passages to the art of recognizing dangerous people before they can do you harm. Because here's what nobody tells you. Some people are not redeemable. Some people are not worth your patience. Some people are walking disasters that will take you down with them no matter how good your intentions are. And the truly powerful don't waste their time trying to fix the unfixable. They don't waste their energy trying to redeem the irredeemable. They identify the threats and they move away swiftly, silently, and permanently. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about lacking compassion. This is about survival at the highest level. This is about protecting your kingdom, your peace, your sanity from forces that exist only to consume and destroy. Now, before we go further, I need you to do something for me, and I need you to be completely honest. Think about the last person who really hurt you, who betrayed you, who turned your life upside down. Now think back to the very beginning of that relationship. Was there a moment, even just a fleeting second, where something felt off? A comment they made that seemed strange, a behavior that raised an eyebrow, a story that didn't quite add up. And did you ignore it? Did you make excuses for them? Did you tell yourself you were being too harsh? If that's you, if you've ever silenced your own warning system because you wanted to believe the best in someone, I want you to comment below just 3 words. I ignored it. That's all. Just write, I ignored it. Because when you admit that, when you put it out there, something powerful happens. You stop lying to yourself. And more than that, you'll see hundreds of other people writing the same thing, and you'll realize this isn't a personal failure. This is a universal trap that we all fall into because nobody ever taught us how to trust our instincts over our politeness. So go ahead, write it down. I ignored it, and let's build a community here of people who are done making that mistake. The first personality type you need to run from the moment you identify them is what I call the emotional vampire. And no, I'm not talking about someone who's going through a rough patch and needs support. I'm not talking about a friend who's sad sometimes or a family member dealing with depression. I'm talking about a specific type of person who has weaponized their emotions to drain everyone around them. You know exactly who I'm talking about. This is the person whose life is always in crisis. Always. Every single day there's a new catastrophe, a new betrayal, a new reason why the entire world is against them. And here's the key identifying marker. Nothing you do ever helps. You can spend hours listening to them. You can give them advice. You can lend them money. You can rearrange your entire schedule to help them, and not only does their situation never improve, but they actually seem to get worse. Why? Because they don't want solutions. They want an audience. They feed on your attention, on your concern, on your emotional labor. And the moment you try to set a boundary, the moment you say, "I can't help you right now. I have my own things to deal with, watch what happens," suddenly you're the villain. Suddenly you're selfish, you're heartless, you're a bad friend. They will guilt you, manipulate you, twist reality, until you feel like you're the one who did something wrong by simply protecting your own energy. The emotional vampire operates on a very specific psychological mechanism that most people never recognize. They have learned, usually early in life, that crisis equals attention, and attention equals value. So they unconsciously, or sometimes very consciously, create constant chaos to ensure they remain the center of everyone's focus. They will sabotage their own success, ruin their own relationships, destroy their own opportunities, all to maintain the narrative that they are the eternal victim who needs saving. And here's what makes them so dangerous. They are incredibly good at making you feel responsible for their well-being. They will frame their needs in a way that makes you feel like if you walk away, you're essentially abandoning a drowning person. But here's the truth that will set you free. You are not responsible for managing another adult's emotions. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to fix themselves. And the most important truth of all, some people don't want to be saved. They want to keep drowning and take you down with them. Robert Greene warns about these types in Law 10. Infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. He understood that misery truly is contagious, and that proximity to chronically negative people will contaminate your own mindset, your own opportunities, your own peace. The powerful protect their emotional state as fiercely as they protect their physical health, because they understand that a polluted mind cannot make clear decisions. When you encounter an emotional vampire, your instinct will be to help. Resist it. Your compassion is being used as a weapon against you. The only winning move is to create distance immediately. Don't explain yourself extensively. Don't try to make them understand why you need space, because that will only give them ammunition to manipulate you further. Simply reduce contact, become boring, become unavailable, and watch how quickly they move on to their next source of supply. And yes, they will replace you easily, which should tell you everything you need to know about how special you actually were to them. You were never a friend. You were a resource. The second personality type you must avoid at all costs is the passive aggressor, and this one is particularly insidious because they disguise their hostility as helplessness. These are the people who never directly confront you, never openly disagree, never clearly state what they want. But somehow you always end up feeling confused, frustrated, and vaguely guilty without knowing why. They operate through a fog of plausible deniability. They'll agree to do something, and then conveniently forget. They'll make a comment that sounds innocent but lands like a slap. They'll smile at you while subtly undermining you behind your back. And when you call them out, they act shocked, hurt, confused. What? I didn't mean it that way. You're being too sensitive. I was just joking. I thought you knew I was going to be late. I never said I would definitely do that. They gaslight you into questioning your own perception of reality. The passive aggressor is driven by deep-seated resentment and cowardice. They are angry, often at life itself, but they lack the courage to express it directly. So it leaks out in 1,000 small cuts, the sarcastic comment disguised as a compliment, the important information they forgot to tell you, the promise they never quite kept, the support they said they'd give but somehow never materialized. And the most dangerous part is how normalized this behavior has become in our society. We've been taught to excuse it, to rationalize it, to take responsibility for their failures. Oh, they're just disorganized. Oh, they don't mean any harm. Oh, that's just how they are. No, that's not just how they are. That's who they chose to become. And that choice is destroying your peace. Machiavelli understood this type intimately. He wrote extensively about those who smile while sharpening their knives, who pledge loyalty while plotting betrayal, who speak of friendship while harboring envy. He knew that these individuals are more dangerous than open enemies because at least with an open enemy you know where you stand. With a passive aggressor, you're constantly off balance, constantly second-guessing, constantly trying to decode mixed signals and hidden meanings. This mental exhaustion is intentional. It keeps you confused and compliant. When you can't trust your own read of a situation, you defer to theirs, and that's exactly where they want you. The key to identifying a passive aggressor is to stop listening to their words and start watching their patterns. Do their actions consistently fail to match their promises? Do you often feel worse after interacting with them even when the conversation seemed fine? Do they frequently put you in situations where you're the bad guy if you enforce a boundary? Do they have a history of failed relationships where they were always the victim of misunderstanding? These are your red flags. And once you spot the pattern, you need to understand something crucial. This will not change. You cannot love them into honesty. You cannot communicate them into directness. You cannot patience them into integrity. Their passive aggression is a deeply ingrained coping mechanism that would require years of intensive therapy to unravel, and most of them will never do that work because their current strategy works well enough to meet their needs, even if it destroys everyone around them. Your only option is to disengage. And with this personality type, disengagement must be surgical and complete. Do not give them opportunities to make you the villain. Do not have a big confrontation where you lay out all their faults, because they will twist it, play the victim, and suddenly you're the aggressive one attacking a poor innocent person who was just trying their best. Instead, become a gray rock. Become uninteresting, unreactive, unavailable. Give short answers. Commit to nothing. Share nothing personal. And when they try to pull you back in with guilt or drama, stay firm in your boundaries without anger, without explanation, without negotiation. Just a simple, calm, I'm not available for that. Watch how quickly they move on to easier targets. Now we come to the third and most dangerous personality type, the one that can literally destroy your entire life if you're not careful. The covert narcissist. This is not the obvious narcissist who brags constantly and demands attention. No, this is the one who plays the victim, who seems humble, who appears sensitive and misunderstood. They are wolves in sheep's clothing, and they are masters of deception. They will enter your life seeming vulnerable, maybe even broken, and your helper instinct will kick in. You'll want to support them, to show them that not everyone will hurt them, to prove that you're different from all the people who wronged them in the past. And that's exactly the trap. The covert narcissist is running a long con, and you are the mark. At first, they will seem perfect. They will mirror your values, your interests, your communication style. They will make you feel understood in a way nobody else has. They will share deep secrets early to create false intimacy. They will love bomb you with attention and affection. And then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, things will start to shift. The criticism will begin, carefully disguised as concern. I'm just worried about you. You seem to be gaining weight. I just want what's best for you. Maybe you should reconsider that career choice. I'm only saying this because I care, but your friends seem kind of shallow. See how they position themselves as the only person who truly cares while isolating you from other support systems. As time goes on, you'll notice that everything is always somehow your fault. They'll provoke you into reactions and then act shocked by your anger. They'll move goalposts constantly so you can never quite succeed in pleasing them. They'll rewrite history, denying things they clearly said or did. They'll triangulate, comparing you unfavorably to others or creating jealousy by talking about how much they admire someone else. And through it all, they maintain this facade of being the wounded party, the one who's trying so hard despite your failures. The mind games are relentless and crazy-making. What makes the covert narcissist so dangerous is that they are trauma bonding you. They create cycles of idealization and devaluation that activate the same neural pathways as addiction. When they're sweet, it feels so good because it's such a relief from when they're cruel. And you become hooked on those moments of kindness, willing to endure increasing levels of abuse just to get another hit of their approval. Meanwhile, they are systematically destroying your self-esteem, your relationships, your reality testing, your very sense of self. And if you try to leave, they will hoover you back in with promises of change, with tears, with sudden displays of the person you fell for in the beginning. But it's a trap. The cycle will just repeat, usually worse than before. Robert Greene's Law 19 states, "Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person." The covert narcissist is absolutely the wrong person to offend, to challenge, to leave without strategy. Because when their mask finally falls off completely, when you see the rage and entitlement underneath the false humility, they will seek to destroy you in ways you cannot imagine. They will smear your name, turn people against you, play the victim so convincingly that others will think you're the abuser. They will use everything you ever confided in them as ammunition. They have no conscience, no empathy, no genuine remorse, only an endless hunger for narcissistic supply and a vindictive fury toward anyone who threatens their false self. If you're currently involved with someone and reading this description is making your stomach drop because you recognize them, you need to start planning your exit right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Document everything, save texts, emails, any evidence of their behavior. Start rebuilding your support system outside of them. Talk to a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse. Create a safety plan. And when you're ready, you leave and you go completely no contact. Not low contact, not let's be friends, complete and total no contact. Block them on everything. Refuse any form of communication. Do not respond to hoovering attempts no matter how convincing. Because every time you engage, you're feeding the beast and resetting your healing. Understanding these three personality types, the emotional vampire, the passive aggressor, and the covert narcissist, is not about becoming paranoid or cynical. It's about developing discernment, which is one of the highest forms of intelligence. It's about honoring your instincts instead of overriding them with social conditioning. It's about recognizing that not every person deserves access to you, and that protecting your peace is not selfish. It's essential. The truly powerful are not those who can handle everyone. They are those who know exactly who to keep out. Now here's your practical work for the next 7 days. I want you to audit your current relationships through this lens. Make a list of every person you interact with regularly. For each person, ask yourself these questions. Do I feel energized or drained after spending time with them? Do their actions match their words consistently? Do I feel safe being honest with them about my feelings and boundaries? Do they take responsibility when they hurt me, or do they deflect and blame? Do they celebrate my wins or subtly diminish them? Do I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells around them? Answer these honestly, and you'll start to see patterns you've been ignoring. For anyone who raises red flags, I want you to begin creating distance. Not dramatically, not with announcements, just quietly start pulling back. Become less available, share less personally, invest less, emotionally. Notice how they respond. Do they respect your need for space or do they escalate their demands? Do they guilt you or do they give you room? Their response will tell you everything you need to know about whether this is a relationship worth maintaining or a toxicity you need to eliminate. And here's the final piece that most people miss. You also need to examine why you attracted or allowed these people into your life in the first place. What wound in you was seeking validation from people who could never truly give it? What childhood pattern were you repeating? What boundary did you fail to set early on? Because until you heal those internal vulnerabilities, you'll keep attracting the same types of people in different packages. The external work of removing toxic people must be matched with internal work of becoming someone who no longer resonates with that energy. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, it means you're serious about protecting yourself and leveling up your discernment. And look, I know this stuff isn't easy to hear. I know it might be bringing up painful realizations about people in your life right now, but understanding the game is the first step to stopping playing it. Here on this channel, every single week I break down the hidden dynamics of power, the psychology behind manipulation, the strategies that the truly strong use to protect themselves and dominate their environment. This isn't about being cruel, this is about being strategic. This is about finally understanding how the social game really works so you're never a victim of it again. If you want to continue this journey with me, if you're ready to stop being naive and start being powerful, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And if this content helped you identify someone you need to distance yourself from, leave a like to help other people find this message before they get destroyed by the wrong people. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, the most dangerous enemy is the one you invite into your own home.